My name is Linh and my co-host is
Edward Thomas.
And today, the climax has arrived. We all anticipated it.
Yes.
This ultimate.
We've been talking about sex so much.
Yes. So the ultimate is not having babies. It's the orgasm.
Well, that might lead to babies.
Yeah, the orgasm. The babies, they are more of a symptom. a consequence of that. You can also have babies without orgasm, though. For you people who did not go to sex ed.
Yeah, sorry, don't get orgasm. It's not like a button. It's like, boop.
Some people don't even know if they have orgasms. Some people probably never experience orgasms, and they can still have babies.
I know.
But having orgasms can higher the chances of getting babies.
And it makes you a happier person, too.
True. I used to be like that, too. Like, when I would have too little sex, I would be all grumpy and, like, being in a really bad mood.
Really?
That's in the rabbit phase. When you're all horny.
Actually, according to Dr. Maureen McGrath, she's actually a nurse, but she said that there's a substance in the brain called PEA, and what happens is it just makes you feel happy. It's called P. There's P in the brain, and it makes you happy. And so people who have sex tend to be, if you're having like a really
you have a lot of
active
endorphins.
sex life, you tend to be happier.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
and that would make sense if you think about like sporting. And doing stuff like that, and you get all the endorphin rush.
Yeah.
And then what happens is when you stop, then you get all grumpy because now your body's going like, better give me that drug again.
Yeah.
And sex would be like the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes a lot of sense that people who have a very active, healthy sex life are probably happier than people who walk around going like, it doesn't matter if I get any or not because, all that matters is the feeling, the thought. I'm like,
what thought?
I don't know. If you're not touching me like that, can't be much thought.
Orgasm. Yeah. Before we were recording, I was telling you that some people even experience orgasm during giving birth, and you said you knew that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's crazy.
Well, not really. I mean, because if you think about it,
well, it's the same channels, I guess.
It's the same channel.
So
it just depends on I was going to say, it just depends on the size of the baby.
It's not about the size, it's about the technique.
We're talking about babies here. Come on. Even I have a limit.
Well, that's what people usually say when there's some men who compare themselves. I don't know. Did you, when you grow up, was that an issue for guys?
Yes, guys would always go around, and if you had a little pee-pee, they'd go around and they would laugh at you and say, look, he's got a little pee-pee.
But actually,
so that's why guys like me, who were like late bloomers, didn't get to puberty until they're like 18, 19.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
We're supposed to be sensitive here, and now you're just like laughing at my pain. And all you other women out there laughing.
Pee-pee.
Poo on you. All you other people out there laughing.
I mean, you should get over it, man.
Nope. It's always
you
a sensitive
are all
issue.
grown now.
Yes, I am.
I think I read somewhere that when the pee-pee unerected is big, it won't grow as much as a pee-pee that's smaller. That grow bigger.
Yeah, something like that.
That's just something I read. I have no
I mean,
source
basically most men are about the same size.
But no, it's not true.
Most men. There's a lot of men who are smaller and a lot of men. It's got to be on a bell curve, something like that. So it's got to be some who are big, like really big. And
but
then really
the
small.
Scandinavians have the biggest. And Asians have the smallest.
Really?
In average.
Nay.
Yes. I've looked it up.
Really? Is that
yes.
That just fulfills a whole bunch of stereotypes.
I'm sorry.
We're going to have a whole bunch of angry letters again. People are like,
all you Asian men.
I didn't make that up.
But as I said I think I have only been with my husband, so I have no idea about other PPs.
I've been with your husband too. I'm sorry. I might as well tell you now. So
You were complaining about that.
he won't hug me.
Your prostate doctor said that you were all whiny about these things. Anyway,
We just hug.
we're just moving in the wrong direction. But I've heard all my life that it's not about size; it's about technique. But I have no idea.
I don't even know if it's. I mean, I'm sure that size must play some kind of role. I'm sure that technique must play some kind of role. But I think it's probably more about who you're with. So if you're just interested in having sex, and you're only interested in technique, it's got to feel good for me, whatever. Okay, then you're going to be looking at it differently than if you're into it for. Here's a person who I love, who I'm giving myself to. They're giving themselves
I want to give
me.
them pleasure.
Yeah, like it's a mutual desire to pleasure each other as one function of the love between two people. And I think that's a totally different situation than just like, give me some right now. Come on, I gotta get my orgasm. Whoa, wow.
That was a short party.
Yeah, that didn't take that long. It was like, it's over. Sorry. What? Oh, you didn't make it there? Oh, well, maybe next time. Yeah.
Yes. So, orgasm, for you people who didn't have sex ed, what is orgasm?
Well, you had a good definition about the vibrating pee-pee and everything.
What?
Well, you said, okay, it's a good traction, but...
Yeah, so what I think biologically it's when your pelvis and the muscles in your pelvis and in your G-spot, like all the sensitive nerve ends are contracting. They're usually contracting rhythmically.
Is that for men and women?
I think so, yes.
Really?
Well, I don't know how a male orgasm feels like, but I guess it's the same muscles.
I assume that it feels like... No, I can't. I don't even... I was saying, I assume it feels just like... Oh, no, I don't even... Can't even go there. That doesn't even make any sense to me. I think if there's anything that men and women are different about, I think that orgasm... I would love to be a woman. Like, I would love right now to have like a vagina.
Right now.
I would love to have a vagina and then have an orgasm. So I can know... And then I can compare it.
I just don't want to be here when you're having an orgasm in your fake vagina.
my temporary vagina. It's on loan for 24 hours.
You
just have it. You're just like, okay, now I can give it back.
Oh wow.
Thanks for letting me borrow it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think women's orgasm usually are longer than males.
They can be.
Okay.
They're not. But I think it must vary some. So I think it's like some women have really long orgasms, some have short, some have multiple orgasms, but not everyone has one, and you can't have it all the time.
But I think in general, female orgasms are longer than males. In general,
well, they take longer to get there at least.
Yeah, well, the excitement builds up longer, and then
It's like a wood stove.
Wood stove, you gotta heat it low.
I know, it's all that work. And then it's like always hot. I'm like, what is wrong?
Do you want to know
microwaves.
a secret?
What?
I can experience orgasm in my dream. Share it with the whole world. There you go.
I didn't know
I can dream about
I didn't know that Lynn was going to say this.
So now he's all shocked.
So now my as we said to another friend of ours who was really dark skinned, eggplant.
You know that people use eggplants to signal a pee-pee when they're typing. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Eggplant?
Yeah. So when people send the eggplant, it means, do you want to have sex?
No.
Yes. You're so old. You don't know.
If you send me an eggplant, I'm going to call the police. See, I'm going to sexually harass.
Never sent you an eggplant.
Not you, but
Except they would
people out
ask
there
you,
that's
do you
listening.
want to eat an eggplant?
No, I don't like that.
Anyway.
See,
yes.
I will never look at an eggplant the same way every time I see one. I'm like, ooh.
That's why I didn't like eggplants before they used it as an emoji.
No, and I'm not going to like them anymore. Like, I'll just find another fruit to eat. I mean, another vegetable to eat.
Zucchini.
Nah, that's probably
Squash,
zucchini.
same.
That's probably the same thing.
Corn.
Nah, same thing. Cucumbers, carrots. Like, what vegetable can you eat? Bell peppers, the only one you can eat. Everything else is sexual. Come on. It's like everything else is a
cabbage.
penis. That's like a testicle.
Oh, that's a really big testicle. Anyway, moving on.
It's swollen up. He's got like a parasite in there.
Orgasm. So do you Yeah. Would you say that sex without orgasm is good sex or not?
Yeah, it could be.
How?
I mean, it's not the same. So you have to think of like cake is good. Cake with frosting is better.
Well, you have a lot of naked cakes nowadays. It's really trendy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Poor people. I like my cake with frosting. Yeah, so I think it's possible to have good sex, enjoyable sex, and so I don't think an orgasm is necessary for every sexual encounter. But
sometimes maybe you're not in the mood.
Well,
I can't relate.
I wouldn't know what that felt like. I'm always in the mood. Wake up in the mood. Go to sleep in the mood. I'm like, what? But I think that but I think that because sometimes there's quickies, and so in a quickie you're not going to get an orgasm,
Did you say the quickie you don't get an orgasm?
No, always no, because it's quickie,
I can't relate.
It's like
why do you have a quickie then?
Because it's like a lunch break. It's like fika.
Hey, I need some love. Let's have some sex.
Sometimes you just like
without frosting.
Sometimes you just want the naked cake. Animalistic, just like give me cake, cookie.
I can't relate. I don't like sex without orgasm.
Wow, you're picky.
Yeah, I always like my frosting.
Really?
I only want the frosting.
It's always got to take such a long time.
No, it depends on.
Really?
That's what I actually wanted to comment with my I can dream. In a dream, it's not like I want to, like I just dream something and then I can experience an orgasm in my dream. But it feels different than in reality.
Oh, okay. So you're not, it's not like
I'm
you're
not
dreaming.
doing anything.
It's not like you're dreaming and then you're having a physical orgasm.
Yes. Yes, that's happening. And I wanted to tell...
Eggplant.
And what I wanted to say with this is that orgasm has a lot to do with your brain.
Obviously, your brain.
It's not only like the mechanics in this. Anyway.
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone.
But isn't that what happens to men when they have a wet dream or whatever?
I don't know. I've never really studied them.
Wet dream?
Wet dream things. When we're sitting around the men's group, we're like, so how many guys have had a wet dream this week? It's like, oh, well, I've had one, Pastor. And, just trying to tell you, I was just thinking about it, and all of a sudden, it's just
I was thinking about
last week at church.
What?
I was just thinking about it.
But this is happening to me like when I'm just sleeping. I can wake up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Thank you, God. I'm really proud of this.
You sure it's from God? The devil's in the corner going like, that's all me.
Well, I don't have to do anything.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that, but I think that's the first time I've ever heard someone.
I know a person who can, as a guy, can have an orgasm without touching themselves.
That's possible.
You see?
But
that's also brain.
It's like a whole mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
put yourself into that frame of mind.
I think that for people who haven't experienced orgasm, maybe either it's technique or it's also mindset. If you're having sex and you think about a lot of bunch other stuff.
Back to Maureen.
My
friend Maureen McGrath.
Mm-hmm.
She says that at least 20% of people who are having sex look at their telephones during sex.
I've done that.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
You were busy then?
No, it's just like, why would you? I mean, you got a job to do. You take care of the job first.
That's why I'm saying maybe you're not in the mood. But maybe you would be. But you are like, I'm always in the mood. So obviously you would not know. But I think for women, maybe it happens more often that they could not be in the mood.
You're sitting there getting going and everything. She takes up the telephone, starts looking at it. Let me know when you're done. It's just like, oh, look at the stocks. Oh, flowers on sale next week.
Well, I hope you don't sit on your phone like for the whole period. I mean, at some point, I get engaged. It's not like, okay, are you done yet?
Okay. Does that make you feel good? All right. You go, big guy.
Oh my, poor Jonas. I'm so embarrassed.
I know. I poor. That's why.
At least your wife never listens to this
I know,
podcast,
that's
so
really
she'll
good.
like, woo. Otherwise, she will kill you.
No, she listened to it one time.
Really? Which one?
When we had Jacob on.
Oh, no.
I'm like, why
That's
would you listen to that one?
confusing.
That was just weird.
Why don't you listen to the good one, like about death?
I know. Listen to something that you can learn something from. So you can tell me how wise I am.
So should people who are not married know about orgasm?
Sure.
And what you're telling them? It's the greatest, but you will never experience it until you get married.
You know.
Except your Lynn, who can dream about it.
Yeah, exactly. We got one weird over here. She just dreams sex. She doesn't even have to touch her husband. She's like, sorry, I got mine already. Had a great dream last night. You weren't in it. Oh, drats, I lost again.
No.
Oh, well. I'll
It's not
chop
the
some
same.
wood.
It's not the same, actually.
Yeah.
I think
Which one do you prefer?
the real one.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm glad you said that. Otherwise, I guess I'd be like, oh, I guess we're getting a divorce or help them move out. So,
No. But did you know that women can have 2 different kinds of orgasm?
I don't know if they 2 different kinds. I know they can have like several different kinds.
Yeah, but I think the main kinds are vaginal or clitoral.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, you're so technical today. I'm really impressed.
I've read about this stuff a lot.
Obviously.
I don't remember why, but I did.
You can't make any good chemicals like opiates or anything, but you remember that it's clitoral or it's vaginal. I'm like, okay, well,
the things that are
important to you.
that are important in life. Who cares about saving the world?
Yeah, and guys, when you have like one little thing and it's the same orgasm all over it.
So maybe that's why, I don't know. Are guys more horny? I think guys are more horny than girls.
Depends upon testosterone levels. So if guys have, there's some guys with low testosterone, some women with high testosterone. They might be at the same level, or maybe the women more. But generally, men have higher testosterone levels and are pretty horny all the time. That's just
Oh my gosh! I don't want my baby boy to be horny all the time.
Wow! Don't say that. We'll have to protect him now. We'll protect you from your mother. She's making you into a mama's boy.
He's already a mama's boy.
No, he's not going to be a mama's boy. We're going to protect him. We're going to help him.
He's so cute. Okay, moving on. We went from orgasm to how cute my baby is. I'm really. Like,
every other sentence is like, "Hi, Zaka." Like, oh my gosh, you stop talking about the babies all the time.
Sorry, this is what consumes my life.
I understand. You're a young mother.
So, what are you telling the people who have difficulties in their sex life?
Get a new partner. Get divorced.
No. What kind of difficulties? Like you're counseling both singles and
married people.
Married people.
For married couples who are having problems with sex, the first thing I usually ask them. So sometimes there was once a couple that came in, and the woman she's just really uncomfortable. She's like, it just hurts. It's not. I'm like, okay. I'm like, how are you guys getting into it? Well, it turns out the guy. Dummy.
Slice on him.
He just jumps on her and starts pumping. I'm like,
wow.
Hello, little romance, bud. You got to get all warmed up and everything first. And they're like, and they were like really uncomfortable
talking about this.
I'm like, well, why did you come to me? You can tell me there's a problem, but you don't want to listen to the solution. There's another problem going on here. And so they thought I was really inappropriate for saying that to the guy. I'm like, you just need to learn how to be romantic.
Why is that inappropriate?
Because people have these really weird views that if you're a really believing Christian, then you're supposed to be boring when it comes to sex. You're not supposed to know anything, and you're not supposed to. I don't know. This is weird. It's just really strange. But anyway, so that was one of the problems. The problem was that no one had ever taught them good sex technique.
That's true. How you're supposed to know.
Yeah, if you come from a purity culture, you've never had sex, you haven't touched, you haven't done the hand jobs or whatever, you have nothing, under clothes, nothing sexual. What happens is you got to learn, and that means you have to be willing to explore. You can't say no first until you try.
When it comes to sexual stuff in marriage, yes.
Yeah, and so
there's one thing you can say no before you try.
Yeah. But when you get married, then you have to figure out what is
our dynamic
that particular couple, because it will be different from couple to couple. And so And so that's one of the things, just learning how to be romantic, how to desire each other, how to create desire. And what it is that the more couples have sex, the more they'll want to have sex.
It's like a drug.
And the less they have sex, the less they will want to have sex. So for couples, and what happens is this is the problem that we're having in marriages, is that so many marriages are ending up sexless. People, I Googled yesterday and in Sweden about, and I just put bored with your marriage. Oh my gosh.
Bored with your marriage.
So many people. And they're like, I've been married 20 years, 30 years, 15 years. Like,
I don't want to go there.
Long marriage. But you know what it is? Because people somehow seem to think that everything good in marriage happens on its own. And it doesn't.
No, it's work.
Everything that's good in marriage requires work, input,
you gotta work,
maintenance. And so one of the things is that sometimes when people start, their energy levels go down because, nowadays when people are home a lot, they're not exercising enough. Exercise helps to create good blood flow.
Condition, endurance.
Yeah, well, it's bad condition. A person who has bad condition, so your heart's not in good shape, your lungs aren't in good shape.
You don't want to have sex.
No, you're not going to be a good lover.
Yeah, because you're just out of breath. Like,
and the person's not going to really enjoy making love to you, and that could actually, so people who are not in really good shape could end up killing their sex life because
they're in bad shape.
Because they're in bad shape. Because they're not good lovers.
Really sad.
So that it's really important if you want to have, because, everything about sex is about blood flow. So the guy's got to get blood flow. Women's got to get blood flow. That makes everything all open, receptive, sensitive.
Warm,
hot.
wet.
Wow. Gosh, you just really got into there today.
Woo. Sex is, I think, when I think about sex, I think it's actually quite like
moist.
Disgusting in a sense.
Body sweat.
Not like
everything.
It's not so. If you would not say it's sex, but just describe it like, I think it sounds really nasty.
Nah.
It's like, so there are two people and they're all wet and sweaty and and the sweat is on each other's body.
Stop it! You're putting ideas in my head. I have to fan myself now.
It's like all secretions everywhere.
Wow, that
sounds
like, great.
I'm like, well.
Yeah. So what was the nasty part? You haven't gotten to anything nasty yet.
I don't want to go into the all nasty.
That's just all normal part of it. That's the whole thing. It's that beautiful, just wonderful stickiness and moisture and.
I just want to shower. I just want to go shower now.
So boring.
So boring.
So boring.
But I think I might be a typical woman in this. That I'm like,
there's a lot of things about you that are very typical women.
That's good.
I've come to know you're not the big tomboy that I thought you were before.
I used to be.
I know. Then you were interesting and cool. But now you're just a lady.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about sex with another man.
I know. That's just really
so
weird.
I don't know if that is normal or not.
Okay, well, I didn't know either.
I mean, it's nothing it's nothing I would recommend to other women. If you have a bad sex life, don't go to other men and complain about it.
No, don't do that. Because, I mean, here's a special situation. But normally what happens is that someone says, I can fix that for you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, your man, he has to do this and this. And if I would do this and this. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, get away from me, Satan.
Don't tempt me.
But I think that couples who have, if you're struggling in your sex life, get help.
How?
Talk to someone. There's sex therapists.
With Arnie.
I know, but there are sex therapists, because even if you don't want to have sex in front of the sex therapist.
I don't think that's included in the therapy.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
What? Yeah, it's sick.
So they can watch you. So they can say, no, okay, now I see what you're doing wrong.
No, don't go to those kinds of sex therapists. I think that's wrong.
No, and they'll film you. No, I'm just kidding.
That's called pornography.
But if because until you can admit that there's a problem, you can never have help. And you have to put yourself into a place where it's comfortable for you to admit that you have a problem. It's not that you're a bad person. It could be lack of knowledge. There could be something biologically going on. Mm-hmm. It could be something like just bad technique. It could be mentally that your view of sex is so warped and distorted that you can't enjoy it because you don't see it as something
have a lot
good.
of other things in your mind. Yeah.
And so, and I think it's really important. I think that even when we're talking about in the beginning, we're talking about orgasm and everything, but your frame of mind, if you look at something as being positive, you will experience it as positive. If you look at something as being negative, you will experience it as negative. And that's the same thing with sex. So somehow you have to, when couples start to lose interest, when they have their bills, their children, or whatever else, their dogs, cats, it's really easy to let other things
get in the way.
Take up that time. And what happens, that which we don't use tends to die. So it is really important to
maintain it.
Yeah, to both work towards having a good sex life and then maintaining a sex life, because you can have sex at any age.
How often is good sex life? Or is that
every
up
day?
To the Don't you get sore?
Well,
you probably not, but I was thinking about the moment.
If you have a couple of quickies in there, but you don't like quickies, so you would be sore. So. No, but I think that, if we say so that if less than 10 times a year is by definition sexless, so you want to be more than 10 times a year, you probably want to be more than once a month.
Yeah, that would be under 12.
Once a month. Because you have to start thinking, like you start doing the math, and you convert that math into days. So if you're having sex 12 times a year, that's once a month. 24 times a year?
Twice a month.
Oh.
That's not very often.
No. So, if you're able, I'm just going to throw a number out there. I think if you're having a really good sex life, about 3 times a week. You can have more, you can have less, but I think 3 times a week you're going to get enough. Hopefully you're spreading it out a little bit.
We have to have 3 times
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh my gosh. Friday, you're like in a bad mood.
I've heard friends, they are usually Sunday is their sex day.
Really?
Sunday before church.
Wow.
So when they come to church, they're all happy.
I would not be having sex right before church. I can tell you that much. Because I was like, I'm sorry I'm late. Something came up. It was personal. Yeah.
Well, you're not lying.
I didn't want to stop. No, but I think 3 times a week is a good average of
rule of thumb.
A good rule of thumb.
Average, that means there's some weeks you have to have more to get your 3 times a week.
Exactly.
I was thinking about 2 times a week, but okay.
Yeah.
So a woman says 2 times a week, a man says 3 times a week. So
but 2 times a week is 24 times a year.
No, it's not.
No, sorry, it's 58 weeks. It's 108. It's 104 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I think anywhere where you're getting above 30 or 40 times a year,
it's
not
10 times a week.
Yeah,
times a month.
So it's not exactly, a lot, but it's not a little bit either.
No. When we tried to have our second child, we had sex a lot, but it became like work. Like it wasn't fun anymore. Because it was like, I have to get going now.
I don't know if I would ever get to that point. I'd be like, yes, let's just keep practicing. Practice again, yes. Woohoo!
Oh, when you're all tired and you're not in the mood and you're like, I just want to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah. And I also get awake of sex. Like after sex, I'm always awake. I can't fall asleep. I have to do something that's boring. And then I can fall asleep. But anyways.
See, I think a lot of men fall asleep after sex.
Yeah, men are like pigs. Right after.
But it's something like the best sleep you have in your life is a sleep right after sex. Oh my gosh.
I was telling Jonas it's because, in evolutionary terms, so the lion would eat you and I would be off with the offspring. Bah, Felicia. Lion, here's your meal.
Wow. I'm
off, probably pregnant.
Thank you, Big Mac.
Thanks, you guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed our climax of this.
Yes.
We're maybe going to have more
We'll probably talk about more sex again.
Yes.
You guys seem to like it when we talk about sex. I don't know why,
Yeah, keep writing into us. Do you want to have more sex? Let us know.
we'll help you out. You can start first by massaging Lynn, and then we'll take it on from there,
So thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for listening to
Fika for Life. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Linh and Ed Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.